When it comes down to it, I think boxing or other combat sports is the best way to go about trying to get in shape. And obviously, I'm going to say that because that's my racket, right? That's how I make a fair amount of my money every month. So naturally, I'm going to be like, it's really the best workout. But it's not just that I make money off of it. It's the fact that it's the only exercise where you're learning skills that are going to be legitimately useful to you, other than maybe running. But even then, like, what happens when you trip and fall? What happens when you trip and fall? What happens when the guy who's chasing after you is faster than you, etc., etc., right? What happens if you're just in a situation where you can't run? You're going to have to default back to whatever you can do with your hands and feet. That's just the way that it is, right? Lifting weights is really good. I suggest everybody do it. If I had a weight set at home, I would as well, but I don't. And I don't want to have to pay and then get in a car and drive to a place just to lift weights. I've never liked that. If I'm going to lift, I want to do it in the comfort of my own home, right? There's tons of exercises that you definitely should partake in, but in my opinion, there's going to be none that are more important than combat sports if you do choose to take them up. And in addition to that, I think the benefits aren't just in terms of like you're learning a useful skill. I think that it is one of the few things that actually legitimately raises your testosterone in a real way. Or if not, it just makes you more virile, right? The amount of people that you see in the MMA world who are they're not like right wing, right? But they're also not like pussies. They're not like annoying cucks and things like that. To use a word that's become pretty cringe. But there's a lot of guys in the MMA world that are they are wise to some of the things that are going on, and even if they aren't completely like tapped in, they're not tapped in, they're also not gonna fall for like a lot of weird bullshit. In addition to that, I'm not saying it's always 100% like going to work out. There's plenty of weirdos, there's plenty of psychos in the MMA world. But I think that it teaches people to be better men when it comes down to it, right? Because a good man, not, and again, I'm sitting here like I'm trying to make this point without it being cringe and things like that, but I'm talking about people being cucks, and I'm about to talk about Jordan Peterson of all people. Yeah, I'm really doing myself a favor here, but I do believe he's correct when he says a good man is someone who is capable of extreme violence but is controlled about it, right? Like I said, there are a bunch of people who, when it comes down to it, they are not going to be controlled, but there are even more people from what I've seen who are controlled about it. Maybe they get in the gym and they turn into monsters in the gym, and they're those guys that it's like you don't want to spar with them because they're really annoying to spar with because they're always trying to take your head off, right? But outside of the gym, they're a little bit more cool. They're a little bit more level-headed. They're not trying to pick fights with people all the time and things like that, right? I think this is a lot different from what you see from like a lot of other things, like I was thinking about it, and I talk about the grunt guy, right? The Black Rifle Coffee guy. They wear shirts that are one size too tight. They have the American flag on there because that's where they would have had their American flag patch in the military if they were even in the military. They wear like the I don't think they're kepis, but they're like grunt hats. Like they're in the Marines and things like that. They Black Rifle Coffee guys, right? They're the types that like they own ARs with Punisher skulls on them, and they drink Black Rifle coffee. Those guys are trying to convince you that they're not effeminate, but the reality is they're extremely effeminate. They care way too much about their looks. They care way too much about their social status insofar as whether or not they're being approved of by people, because that's what it is at the end of the day. They're worried about approval more than anything. It's just that they've decided that they are going to go after a different kind of approval. Instead of going after the approval of the mainstream, they're going to go after the approval of the counterculture and things like that. The conservatives, who are the new punks, by the way, if you didn't know, conservatism is the new punk. But they're very effeminate, but they are trying to convince you that they're not effeminate. And one of the things that they end up doing is they have an attitude to match, where they always have to be testing someone, they always have to be moody, they always have to be trying to shame somebody. That is all very effeminate behavior. That's effeminate behavior. They're always looking for somebody to shit test. They're always looking to be like, I'm the alpha. I'm the alpha. Did you know I'm the alpha? Dude, do you even drink Black Rifle coffee? Do you even have an AR-15 that says, bye bye, I suck penis? Do you even have an AR that... Dude, you don't? You don't? You're a cuck, dude. You're a blue-pilled beta male cuck. Me, I'm an alpha male. Like, that's what they're trying to do, The understanding of testosterone and virility and what it is to be a man has become so warped that we now believe that effeminate behavior and effeminate states of mind are the high T, quote unquote, alpha male way of doing things. That's how warped everything has become, is that we don't recognize testosterone when it's staring us in the face, Not wanting to run around and cause problems. That is high T behavior. Not shit testing everybody I find to try and see who the alpha is. Who's the alpha here? Am I the alpha? I'm an alpha, so I need to shit test everybody to see who the alpha is. And if I'm the alpha, then I'm gonna treat everyone like shit. I'm gonna terrorize people. That's effeminate behavior, right? And I saw there was this like black people podcast, right? There was this black people podcast that it talks about like relationships and shit like that through a black people lens, right? Which I don't have any issues with. I'm just saying, like, this is the type of podcast that it was. So they were doing a lot of talking about this stuff. But in this podcast, they made a very good point that stuck with me, and I kind of wish I thought to figure out where this podcast was. But real men aren't appreciated. Real men are not appreciated today, because if a woman, right, is dressing up weird, if a woman is acting weird, right, if she's dressing up like a hoe and she wants to go hang out with her friends, a real man is going to be like, nah, don't dress like that. And what? You're going to hang out with your friends at where? The fucking club? Nah, you ain't going there, right? A real man is going to be like, nah, get out of here. Get out of here with that shit. And what's going to happen when a real man does that shit? He's going to be accused of being like some kind of weirdo, Oh, he's controlling. He's an asshole. He doesn't want to have fun. He doesn't like to have fun. He doesn't have a good personality. This, that, the other thing. But the fact of the matter is, it wasn't even about real men. It was about strong men, actually. Strong men, which, same thing. But a strong man is not going to be like, oh yeah, no, totally. Dress up like a hoe and go to the club with your hoes, with your hoe friends, and do hoe activities. Yeah, no, it's perfectly fine. It's all good. I got you. Nah, it's all good. He's gonna be like, nah, I'm not cool with that. Fuck that. You ain't doing that. And he's gonna end up getting kicked to the curb at some point, because she doesn't know what a strong man is. She doesn't know what a high T, what a virile man is. And because of that, when she's confronted with one, and the reality that a strong man sets boundaries and is like, nah, that's not cool. I don't like that. You're not doing that. When she's confronted with that, she's gonna throw a fucking tantrum. Right? And then when it comes time for her to settle down and, she wants kids, or maybe, I don't know, maybe she has a kid, she's going to turn around and be like, where are all the strong men at? Where are all the good men at? And it's like, well, whenever you had one, you said, no, fuck that, You shit tested him into oblivion, and then you got rid of him after he was like, yo, fucking knock it off, And it's, I think that's pertinent, because this is kind of, This is kind of what happens, right? this is kind of what happens. Um, in terms of the misunderstandings about masculinity and what a real or a strong man is, it's just another example of how that plays out. And going back to weightlifting and working out and stuff like that, right? How does this all play into weightlifting and working out? There's a lot of guys out there who they lift weights. Maybe they're even on tren or some other performance enhancing drug, and that's all they do. They just lift weights and they shoot their guns and they wear their grunt hats and they drink their Black Rifle coffee. Their big Black Rifle coffee, you know. That's just what they do, and they think that they're strong men when really they're not. They're basically women with dicks. They're women with dicks that take fucking artificial testosterone. Their gains come through a needle, and they own some like ugly ass looking guns. That's really what it is. And that's something I've thought about a lot, and it's kind of tough to talk about because people either get it or they don't, and most people don't get it. And because of that, when you end up talking about it, there's gonna always be those people out there that are like, "Oh, well, I think you're just, bro, I think you're just mad that you're a beta male." Or they're going to do some shit like what Vegan Gains did, thinking, oh, you want to compare biceps? And, it's just annoying, and that's why I went for his throat. I tried to let it go, but then I didn't like his attitude moving forward. So I was like, you know what? Nah, we're going to reach back 5 minutes into the past, and I'm going to be like, oh yeah, and I'll beat the shit out of you, by the way, because fucking in that case, it's like, well, Mr. Alpha Male, you're trying to mog me based off of whether or not you think you're the alpha, you're the big dog here. Well, let's fucking find out. You're gonna find out quick, I don't bring my A game. I don't bring my A game to fish tank, But fucking, you guys would really see what would happen if I got angry and had to fight somebody. If Vegan Gains came around trying to be like, you want to compare biceps? Want to compare biceps? And like I said, I don't even hate the guy. It's just, again, like this whole shadow of masculinity thing where it's like, oh, beards. I have a beard. That means I'm a man. I chop wood. That means I'm a man. I'm a man. I pay $100 an hour to throw axes at a wall. I'm a man. I have an AR-15 with a big black dick on it. I'm a man. I drink Black Rifle coffee, and I wear MAGA hats. That makes me a man. That's a hallmark of masculinity, though, is control, is the ability to just be like, yo, I don't like that. Right? To be able to not allow your emotions and your base urges, because that's what it is at the end of the day with all that alpha male shit, quote unquote alpha male shit, is like, oh, I have a base urge, so I get it. Whatever I want, I get it, because my base urges rule me. I want to have sex, I have sex. I want to do coke, I do coke. I want to shoot guns, I shoot guns. I don't make sacrifices. I don't have sacrifices, not being a fucking chauvinist all the time, being good to people, being respectful. No, I don't need to do that because I'm an alpha male. And it's like, just like how Sam says you don't need a girl that aligns with you on everything, because you know who will align with you on everything? A man, an autistic man, right? It's kind of the same idea where it's like, dude, you don't want to be like that, because you know who is going to be exactly like that? A woman. You're going to be acting like a fucking woman if you act like that, because that's how women act. So there's a lot of guys out there who are convinced that female traits, that female shit female mindsets and ways of doing things are actually alpha male ways of doing things. And it's ridiculous, you know. And the same thing goes with hip hop culture too, you know. Hip hop is very effeminate as well, you know. And for all the same reasons, And look at what's happening with hip hop. Turns out everyone's been getting it up the ass from P Diddy, from fucking P Diddy, the baby oil and shit like that. People got baby oil up their asses from fucking P Diddy, you know, and we're supposed to believe that these guys have been masculine this whole time. We're supposed to listen to them and actually take what they have to say seriously about anything having to do with manhood. Nah, fuck off. Get out my face, you know? Fuck that and fuck you. But anyway, that's something that it's something that I obviously feel very strong about. That's why I paused the fucking game to talk about it. It's something that I've also been thinking about it for a while, and I've had a hard time trying to put it into words, if you will. You know, but it's something that I feel strongly about, and I feel strongly enough as to where I'm not going to be overly concerned with whether or not like somebody's like, oh, it just sounds like you're a beta male, you know. And again, like, that's a masculine trait in and of itself. The truth is the truth, regardless of what some fucking pussy has to say about it.